Hey, Grim, I made it to the radio one more time without having to open any desk. Having to open any. I can't even talk. What a night. Anyway, saying hi to the bots and bodies should be easy, except that I got my screen small, so I have to scoot up to it to read it. We got for your reading enjoyment in the RealLibertyMedia.com chat tonight. You got Barman, Beetle, Grimner, Moose Girl. She's probably at work but logged on. And you got Brackets DC, Anti-Asmo, Beth Z, Free Enslaved Graham Z, Ivy Dawn C, Java Doctor 2, Meisterbrow, Miss Kate, Rome's, who's trying to cook dinner, Vanna White, Vinny, Weather Dork, Woodman, Phantom, Circle, hello honey, Cyborg, Noodle, End Civ, I guess End Civics, me, Frumpy, Grommet, J's Nines, Chase, Kiss underscore, Pondergander, Pone Sauce, Sock Puppet, Smodaz, and Van Meter out in Florida. So there's the bots and bodies to chat with in the RealLibertyMedia.com. What does Mary say? Get a name and come on over to the chat. Sure, somebody there will fix all of your misunderstandings, whether you want them to or not. Because apparently, if you listen to people talk, everything we do is fucking wrong. Nothing is right. We're all doomed. Doom. Gonna have to be scrounging over each other, scavenging over the dead bodies for brains to eat. What's that company that stole all the water? Nestle stole all the water. Monsanto put Frankenstein in the food. My wife is passing me the thing. Life is okay for me, but the rest of you guys, and I heard the weather's not been treating everybody as good as it could either. And according to Grimner, let me see what he wrote. There's an, no, maybe it was Rome's. A never-before-seen water event heading to Louisiana. A flood. That's what happens when you don't think ahead and it rains a lot and you're built on mush. You flood. I think that's why they bury people above ground in that part of the country in the first place, because, well, you just couldn't keep a dead guy down. They'd rise to the top. So they got smart and started burying them up there. But apparently they forgot about that river could overflow and just set them back where they started a few years down the road. Anyway, I'm not an expert on floods, but I've been a few places, and I'm sure glad I got to that particular place before the turn of the century happened and all this hurricane shit. Because I've looked back, and I remember reading about hurricanes, and there seemed to be a cycle to them about every 20 years. Say 20 to 25 years, you'd have a good, maybe a 3, 4, or even a 5, category 5. But they would happen every 20 years. And then after Andrew, then they started to happen every other month. So, anyway, what have we got in store for the 20% crowd in this episode of 20% off tonight? I was scrounging for links because I couldn't think of a topic that to do solo. I really prefer doing the radio with like Mary and Vince. But this is my own personal pet project that I thought I'd do by myself. And it fluctuates. Sometimes it's just not as motivating as others. But tonight, my wife sent me a link to read, and it's an older link. It's from 2013, October the 30th, from a guy named Robert Higgs. And it's called The Power of the State versus the Power of Love. And guess who wins? It's not the state. Hold on a second here, folks. So, We're going to start out with, for thousands of years, philosophers have argued that society must invest great power in the rulers because only great power can hold back the forces of evil, violence, plunder, and disorder. They have often conceded, however, that this solution has a downside. Powerful rulers may themselves resort to violence and plunder. In any event, society's positive, productive forces always reside within the people themselves. All the genuine peace, cooperation, production, and order the society enjoyed sprang from them. So the state was never a solution to a problem the people could not solve for themselves, but itself a problem masquerading as the only solution to problems whose real solutions already lay close at hand, if they existed at all. See, it's like three-card money. You know the card's there. It's right there. Some put it there. I know it's there. Hold on a minute. Given that wealth destruction undermines social well-being, how did it come to pass that the state, an institution based on violence and plunder, has overridden peaceful cooperation as the dominant factor in social life virtually everywhere on Earth? Yeah, except for Cuba, North Korea, any place there's not a central bank yet. They probably haven't got slapped with their war. They'll get it. It's coming. Be patient, North Korea and Cuba and Iran. Your turn is coming. America will help gobble you up and make you part of the Borg. Just hold on. Anyway, back to this epic story. Although this simple question requires a complex answer, we know that the rulers have used fear of themselves and of other dangers known and unknown. Thank you, Rummy. To terrorize the people and convince them that they are incapable of providing security that only the state can provide. First, through fear alone. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to post this little whopper on the RLM because, well, that's the way I roll. So, I guess better late than never. So I'm reading out of this here particular. It didn't even oh yeah, it did. Gave it in the. There it goes with the title. Vanna White slow. Slap Vanna a little harder, Grim. She's not moving quick enough. So where was I in my epic tale? To terrorize people and convince them that they are incapable of providing security, that only the state can provide it. First through fear alone, then through complementary religion, and ultimately through complementary ideology. The people's convictions were twisted into forms compatible with the rulers, the priest ideologists, and the military elites, living at the expense of the plundered masses, who were kept in line more by false beliefs than by raw force. Wow, hey, good one, Cirque. But, that's why I guess I was kind of, tonight, is I've been listening to the internet for a few years now, so there's nothing that anybody can say on the internet that I don't know shocks me. I'm like, wow, who didn't see that coming? Anyway, back to my epic tale. So it remains today, is any feasible alternative conceivable? ? Hard-headed people mock the idea that love is the answer to the people's dire situation. They insist that evil forces and evil men are afoot in the world, men who care nothing for love and seek only vile ends, and that such malevolence can be fended off effectively only by meeting it with adequate force and violence. Thus does the perceived security gap fuel a race to the bottom in which the ostensible protectors become more and more indistinguishable from the evil men who allegedly seek to hurt us. by meeting evil only with the ruler's upward ratcheting force and violence and their upward ratcheting suppression of our liberties and our means of self-protection. The ultimate goal, a social environment of real security and peaceful cooperation, recedes ever farther from realization. Yeah, you can't force people to like each other. That's stupid. Wow, that's like being a schoolyard built bully, you know. Oh yeah, they're bigger until you hit them in just the right spot, and then they're not bigger no more. Funny how that worked. Now, back to, hey, Hannibal. Hannibal's keeping track of the birds. Anyway, oh, here we go. Jesus declared, Ye have heard that it hath been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor, and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Yeah, that's going to catch on. I can see Bill Clinton turning his laugh over to Jesus in the morning. Well, as soon as they arrest his ass. You guys are too funny. Back to this. Wow, okay. Of course, people, even most Christians, no doubt, will say that this admonition, however lovely it might sound in a sermon, is utterly impractical, that behaving in accordance with it would leave us entirely at the mercy of those who seek to harm us. Perhaps it would. Yes, here we are, inhabiting a world divided in countless ways by mutual misunderstandings, hatreds, and yearnings for vengeance, because each society is subject to a state whose own interests are served by keeping this vicious pot boiling. We have no prospect of ever breaking out of the endless cycle of evil, violence, and retribution. In the process, the whole world foregoes the immense blessings that would flow from mutual cooperation, peace, and tolerance. Yeah, that's going to happen after this shit show we've been watching for the last 80 years. I think the last 80 pretty much sums it all up. You know, it's today it's legal. Now, no, well, the church decided that no, it makes the black guys rape the white girls. Nope, it's illegal. Wait a minute. Now, nope, we're gonna make it legal again. Well, we're just having fun with law. Don't mind us. We're actually insane. That's the way I see this crap. I mean, it's okay on Monday, but then it's not okay on Thursday, but then on next Monday rolls around, it's okay again. Somebody's fucking somebody somewhere. And I would hope it's not you. But I have a strong suspicion that most of us, whether we want to take a good look at it or not, there's almost no way to play this game, life, without being where we're at in it. Because we weren't born into the club. And there's more to that. I seek George Carlin for those answers. He knows them all. But, of course, he's dead now, so. But I have a feeling he was trying to tell us something. Back to my epic tale. So where was I? So long as the state exists with its intrinsic violence, plunder, and insolence, and we seek solutions to our pressing social problems through it, or in its dark shadow, we are doomed not to second best or third best solutions, but to make-believe solutions that are, at best, momentary rest stops on the road to our worsening degradation and ultimate demise. Destruction is what states do, or threaten to do. It is the nature of the beast. As technological changes augment state powers, the culmination of this terrible sequence may be our absolute annihilation. Love turns us in the opposite direction. It seeks to build up, whereas the state seeks to overawe and kill in the service of the self-interested elites who control it at the expense of the people at large. Love has no need to flex violent muscles. Oh, that depends. Or seek vengeance time and again. Love intends the good of the other for its own sake, not as a means toward the end of one's own aggrandizement. Love is patient and long-suffering. Power is impatient and easily provoked. Love does not keep score. Well, international rivals do so in numerous dimensions. Love leads to inner peace and cordial relations with others, whereas the state remains always at war, if not against other states, then certainly against its own subjects, on whom it preys ceaselessly in order to sustain itself and to gratify the ruler's insatiable ambitions for personal acclaim and unchecked power. Hard-headed people will say, of course, that in socio-political life, love just doesn't work. In sharp contrast, they insist power in the hands of the rulers does work. And indeed, it does. That's the trouble. Yeah, the trouble, I agree with that. It's presented to us the opposite of what is real. So what the government is telling you something is safe and effective, don't ingest it. Don't put it in an orifice of your body that you require for anything, because you'll probably damage yourself doing it. And we've got the CDC, the FDA, APA, EPA, who else? All these alphabet groups. And if you look a little bit through the interwebs, you can find out that they're not government agencies at all. They're outside enterprises. They're for-profit businesses. And we collectively support this crap because nobody knows how to stop it. You know, the only one that I've ever heard make sense with how to stop it is Mary. Mary says, don't buy it. Wait a minute. How could it be that simple? Can't be that simple. Nope, it's that simple. Because, if you don't buy it, but then you got to trust the other guy. See, this is where the whole thing falls apart. Is we got this distrusting society. Everybody thinks the other guy's full of shit. Well, look at all the leaders. They're all full of shit. The religious are all full of shit. Try to go get an education now, and you're in debt for the rest of your life to get an education so that you can do what? Work to pay off the education. So they've cut all the doorways to success over the last 100 years or so have been just closing in on us. You get through this door and then they seal it up so the other people behind you can't use it ever. And we tell people this. If you open your eyes and you give it a real honest look, you can see it. It's not like it's not like this is one of those conspiracy theories that doesn't hold any water. Actually, I think that the things that people believe are the lies, and the things that they don't believe are the truth. It's the reverse, the opposite of whatever you think it is, like a fluoride. Crying out loud. How many times have I sniveled about fluoride in the drinking water? But I think that's because deep down I have a deep-rooted respect for common sense and the abilities that we all had when I was growing up to be able to read a map. We didn't have what's those stupid things you put in your car and you punch buttons and they talk to you and send you to the wrong place. And then the two guys that are looking for a strange woman find you, and then they try to rape and kill you, but you escape. And then you end up with their friend that's really a drug dealer. See, movies. Doesn't anybody just have a normal day anymore? Or maybe they'll make some asset forfeiture movies for us to enjoy so that we can see the good that the government's doing on our behalf, behind our name. Me too. I mean, they call me an American because I carry the paperwork. So, what are the choices? Lucky I wasn't born in Uganda, I suppose. Then I'd be somebody else. I, I don't know how this shit works. It's just all crazy to me. I was born. I don't remember being born, but I was born, and then a couple of years go by, and here I am with this life behind me that I don't even remember most of it now. I can't remember any of it before a certain period at all. Nothing. And the little blinks of memory from like 3, 4, 5 years old are just vague. So, I don't know where we even can start to discuss some of this shit that goes on in real life and not end up in an argument because, well, if you read this guy's work, you would understand it this way, and if you read that guy's work, you'd understand it that way. And I've come to the decision that whatever the system's promoting, pushing, selling, requiring me to know or have or believe, I ain't gonna touch it. Fuck them. And I've gone as far with what do you call that? The slavery game, the begging, and I did what I was asked to do. And so far in all these years, nobody's ever asked me to do anything further. And if you're of my age, you've learned years and years and years ago, never volunteer, ever. Volunteering is the dumbest act a man can make. Never volunteer. If you're going to volunteer the other guy. No. Be American about this, people. Never volunteer. That's what leaders are for, to send you places. I don't know. I thought they were representatives. And then I started to trip over things like when I first got on the internet, I remember opening this link. And I don't know how it came about that somebody had pointed it out to me or said, hey, have you ever seen this or something? And it turned out to be the Meet Your Strawman link. And I'd over the years had heard people use the term strawman arguments and, off the wall stuff, and the lawyers would talk about it. But never really applied to me, so I never followed it up. And then I had all that time in Scotland, and I went, hey, what's this? And I know I'm preaching to the choir here on the RealLibertyMedia.com chat, but hey, you never know. There might be a new face out there in BitChute land or wherever Grimmy puts us. He puts the shows out there. And I don't really do a whole lot to self-promote, push. But on some of the stuff that I do, I feel there's some very necessary and important things to open your mind to. At least pay attention. It's always better to say, well, okay, I was wrong at the end than it is to just be wrong and not ever know it. It's like the straw man. I could have gone down the other side of that road and ended up a lawyer, but I consider it fortunate that I didn't. I chose to be something different. And whatever the definition of what I am is, can't sum it up in a few words, over in a chat room, with somebody that you don't know. It doesn't work that way. People have lives, We know each other a little bit from the internet. But then there's, people like me and Mary. Me and Mary have, we've been more active in the past in our friendship, but things shifted for her and she got a new direction. Decided to start farming. I wanted to see what working was really all about. And Grimner gave me a big old compliment on the thing. He says, Flash does a good show. I don't know why more people don't tune into him. Well, I've thought about that, Grimner, and I've considered that it's very possible that the crowd that I'm going to appeal to is my own age. And we're not so stuck on video. You got to see the face, and then the person doing the video's got to be animated and do characters every one. It's too much. I just talk. I just do radio the old-fashioned way. Got a radio face to go along with the radio voice, and it works for me. But what I think, this is my personal belief about all this, is the amount of people that are online that are looking for an answer to the problems that are facing them is minimal. Very, very few people bother. I mean, this link, the Meet Your Strawman, 852,400 views. And out of that, there was still 938 thumbs down on a link that just describes what a strawman is. So when you think about, I mean, people are reacting negatively to the information that they need to know to free them of the slave that they're becoming or have become, however you put it. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're all in it together. It's how you think of it. It's how you look at it that makes the difference for me, as I say, the difference for Vinny, because I do radio with Vinny. I know Vinny fairly well. So Vinny's in the game to his level of honesty and shit, where he participates. And I'm more of a rebellious, fuck these people kind of guy. I don't like them. I don't want to be associated with people in government and religion and education. Those suits and tie people are the people that I don't want to know. They're the opposite of who I want to spend my time discussing life with. And sadly, the truth shows itself no matter where you go, because educated people have this statist belief in their demeanor, their behavior when you speak to them in public. And whatever new thing you want to discuss, they don't. Nope, that's not true. They already know, because their indoctrination has beaten them into the state they're in to not hear what you're about to say. And I equate that to my inability to be preached to about the Word of God, for example. And Vinny believes in spiritual and God and stuff like that. And whatever I believe in, I don't think it has a title or a name, but if it can handle me, I don't think it's worried at all about you, whatever you are or aren't. And people all my life, whoa, don't you get scared being out there alone, and you're out there in the middle of the night wandering around, you don't even know where you're at? I said, no. Why? What's going to happen? You bring negative shit on yourself by being negative. So that's not what I do. And because when I'm out there consciously vibrating of my little vibration out there, it's not to bring me bad shit. So I don't get any. Vinny says he's a witness, judge, advocate. Well, I'm with you as long as you're speaking for you. Or I don't like people speaking for me so much, I don't think. That could be my problem. And I don't think it's a personal thing. I think it's an everybody thing. I think if Cirque tried to do it, I'd, hey, wait a minute here. I got two legs. I know what I'm doing. Hold my beer. I can handle this. But, Grimner says, I'm kind of animated. Well, yeah. Yeah, and statists hate thinking of themselves as being trapped by a straw man. This is Grimner's input to my little straw man link. Yeah, I agree with that, because if that was me looking on, like being married. Oh, I got married, and hey, I gave up my freedom to be with this crazy woman that's as crazy as I am, so we'll probably get along just fine. There you go. But wow, you give up a lot when you gain something in life, you have to give something else up. So to have the belonging thing I got with Cirque, I had to give up my freedom to do as I wanted. And that's not that big a deal. I can pick it up anytime I like it back. I can just take it. It's mine. But if you don't have any kind of moral compass, I guess you might, react in that fashion. But I don't know. I seem to have finally found a female that figures, yeah, we did this. We made a promise. Okay, you're stuck. I'm stuck. Where's the dog? And that's the good and the bad of it. It's just life. And maybe I am a little bit animated on the radio. I'm probably a little animated when I talk to my wife occasionally too, though, when I think about it. But I don't do this, like in public. Total strangers around. No, 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 no. This is just radio and probably a house full of family. But other than that, I'm a pretty quiet, shy individual. Mind my business. But I vibrate on irresistible, and people just love to be around me, and I can't figure out why. It is not as though I have a great history in my life of other people taking my experiences and duplicating them, trying it their way. It didn't never happen to me like that. All I ever heard was, "Wow, you're nuts. You went where? How? Why?" But that's what we are: judgmental, afraid. I'm judgmental to a degree. I think we all are. It's like a survival thing. And some people take it a little further than others. It just depends on I guess the life you're living. And wow, my life is so peaceful and quiet and boring. Nothing exciting happens unless I want it to. And that's a really easy thing to control, is how much excitement do you have in your life. And the biggest thing is the dog and the cat might get a little feisty and want to run around the house some, chase each other. Outside of that, just me and Cirque, and nah, peace and quiet. She got herself a little time off work, so she wanted to hang out in the yard and maybe take a little trimming, do a little trimming work, and do what she wants to her house the way she felt like doing it, instead of being told what to do by anybody. It's kind of weird how it is here. Every house on the block has a different standard of decorum, and some people are meticulous and some people aren't. And there's no council to go to bitch about it. It's just the way it is. I think this Danish thing is more live and let live than I've ever seen as far as their government goes. And they've been working on the street for months and months and months, upgrading this and upgrading that. And as soon as they're done, they patch up the road and they pack up their little tools and their trucks and their shit, and they get the fuck out and they give us back our street. It's not, so tied up for so long that you unnecessarily, just to keep people working, I think. Like the way I used to drive the interstate back in California when I was younger. And they'd have road projects that would start, go on and on for 6 months. And they could have done the whole damn job in a couple of nights. But instead of doing that, well, LA, you figure it out. Anyway, and I remember after meeting my Strawman, started to poke around in other things. And I found out stuff like, oh, the municipal judges often do not sign their oaths of office. And you can actually look up a sitting judge and see his oath. And on the oath, it'll have a certain protocol to have it signed. And they just bypass all that, and they just sit and hold the damn seat anyway without signing that oath. And I don't know. Over the years, people have argued with me on the radio about the symbolism of Admiralty Court doesn't mean anything. Well, then if it doesn't mean anything, why is it there? Because symbolism is basically for people that cannot read, so that somebody that cannot read will understand you're in a court. Hey, how are they going to know it? Well, you told them. Well, maybe they can't hear. They got to see it. Okay, so you show it to them. What are they looking at? A flag with starry, bangly stuff all around it. What's that? And I've heard crazy people tell me, oh, that's just a decoration. No, you do not decorate a country's freaking war flag. Are you nuts? Because the Stars and Stripes is a military flag. So, no, you don't decorate a military flag, but what do you do to a military flag, Johnny? I think you upgrade it. Now, if I'm probably gonna be argued with about this till the day I croak. But Vinny's seen the damn thing with his own, by being in the courtroom. And I guess the one thing we can all agree on is whatever the truth is about this court system that we have, that we live in, it's not what we believe it to be. That I think I could get an amen out of Vinny on that particular line. But the symbolism and all, the thises and the that's and the seating arrangements and the way that an operating admiralty court resembles a ship and how you enter a ship to speak to the captain of the ship and the design of the jury box. And then I found this link from this other guy a couple months back, but maybe a year ago. And he broke down the admiralty court rules in language that was comparable to a math equation. And I I must have some dork geek in me somewhere, because I saw the math equation just struck me. Wait a minute. Hey, when you look at it like that, balance and numbers and all these things that I guess different people take them to different levels. But with the help of the internet, anybody can find the answer that suits their personal taste. If I wanted to believe that Donald Trump was the greatest thing since bottled ketchup, I could find links to support it. All I have to do is put my mind in that frame where I'm willing to accept the great Donald is the savior thing to be a part of it, so I could be a part of a bigger thing. But I'm one of those people that, no, Cirque wants to be a part of a bigger thing. But she was born into her tribe. It's not like she has a choice. She can't opt out of that. Her Danish peers know she's Danish. And it's just strange how over the years that I've been here, they're not a better than you kind of thing. It's just they know their own. It's like, I guess me with the Jewish folks, the nose thing. We just know. The nose knows. Something like that. Anyway. I was rambling on about the other things that Meet Your Strawman set me on to, and the next one was this beauty. This epic SCOTUS ruling. I don't even know how the ruling was. But according to SCOTUS, the police have no duty to protect the citizen. Okay, now it specifically was written that way, to protect the citizen. It didn't say anything about the non-citizen. So, what if you're not a citizen? Do they have to protect you then? I never did get that far with the question to get a specific answer out of it, but that's what I thought of. Well, and then you look at the way that these illegal immigrants are treated as opposed to how the citizens are treated. And there seems to be a little bit of a difference. And what do they base it on? They don't speak the English. I don't know. How would you know somebody was an illegal alien in America? What would the tell be so that you know that that person is not a citizen? And why do the police have to protect that person but not you? And that goes up to the politicians and all these other fuckers that are all sitting holding dual citizenship to Israel. How do you do that and then sit in the Senate of the United States? And then they rely on that freaking SCOTUS for answers to important issues like life and death. And they get parody and comic relief, but they get no fucking answers. But the answers that you get seem to be good enough because, hey, how many people are the cops killing every year now? I believe the average kill for the policia per year since they started counting in like 2001, right about the Patriot Act time, is 500 civilian shootings per year. And some of them are not armed. They're just in the way. Hey, Rob Works showed up. Cool. Rob has been very busy all of a sudden. He has not been hanging out with us on the RealLibertyMedia.com chat. He's been out there playing grown-up in Texas. My goodness, Rob. I didn't think you'd do it. Yeah. Anyway, so where was I? Here we go. Just other things like, wow, the gold fringe on the flag. Now, I've read and I've experienced court from my own, myself, and I'm telling you, it all depends on moods and people's how they feel about shit. I'll tell you again, nothing to do with actual law, I don't think. I think it's way different than that. And we're all emotional creatures in the first place, so you get I thought they got the jury pools were off of the DMV registration list, the driver's list. Grimner says, no, they're voter pools now. So well, how, I don't get this. If they know who you are when you're voting, then when you vote, they don't know who you are anymore. What? I'm confused. I'll stay out of that voting stuff. It sounds kind of sinister. If you really want to know the truth. So here we got these banks decided that these two pricks decided that they're going to run against each other for this one job. Now, the thing that we the people, this collective we're part of, don't seem to ever put two and two together with and come to the answer of is Hill Dog and Trump both came from the same pot of shit to choose from. That was the best of the best of the best of the best of the best. So, and to this day, into 2.5 years into Trump, and all the best thing anybody's got to say is, at least he's not Hillary. Okay. What is the fucking difference between Trump and Hillary? When Trump was supporting the Clintons when the whole time he was a big shot in New York. How do you not know this? For all it's worth, Trump was a Democrat, and then all of a sudden he's going to run for president. So I had a little comment to make on a link on Minds the other day, and it was about that I think Trump didn't get selected or any of that by the Electoral College. This is a long-range plan. Okay, look, where did Obama come from, or what's his name, Bush, CIA, Clinton? Where did these people come from? That all of a sudden, with a little advertising on the internet and newspapers and TV, that they're worthy of being the president of the United States, and that every fucking one of them, at some point during their little stint in office, does something that's so unforgivable that everybody hates them for a while. And yet, here we go with Trump, and all of a sudden, and this guy's pissed off everybody at least once. But the public is so conditioned to the game that the game is playing them, and they think that they got a loose cannon out there talking on their behalf. Trump is a fucking banker's shill. Come on. What else could he be? When New York was dying in the 70s and Uncle Donald came to I'll take the shit for all this and I'll rebuild that. Where'd the money come from? Huh? Bankers. It was either they're going to go government or they're going to go private. And they went private, so they went Trump. And here we are 40 years later now, 50 years later, and Trump is in the White House. And people are just completely blind to his bankruptcies or his open court cases or his basic scams. So at Trump University, ring a bell with anyone? And I'm not pro Hill Dog either. I'm telling you, it's the same shit. It doesn't matter who you choose. We're going to get this crap no matter what we do about it. So, what do you do about it? Complain. I'm going to snivel away. I don't like Trump. Well, I don't think I don't like Trump. I just don't like the I don't like politics of any kind, really. Other people choosing what's good for me based on the bullshit that they read on the news or in a newspaper or saw a link to, just like me. Am I going to be in charge of you because I met my strawman and understand I am a strawman? So somehow that puts me in a better position to make decisions than you. Where does it end? I guess is what I'm saying is all of it is right or none of it is right. There's no way to pick and choose. I'm going to do the straw man, but I'm not going to do the cops have no duty to protect, but I'm going to do the power of the state versus. No, you can't. Sounds like you can. I've thought that. I could all these years myself, but I think over the last few years with Cirque, I've kind of realized that, the mood I'm in dictates this shit, because most of the time it doesn't have any play in my life whatsoever. I mean, whether Donald Trump attacks Venezuela and Nicaragua and Poland all in the same day, as long as I'm not there, it doesn't involve me. It might financially somehow in some third-hand way down the road, I might not be able to get my avocados or my bananas, but a direct connect to the evil shit that people do every freaking day in seats of power on the planet Earth. You couldn't count the crap that goes on a daily basis. But the part that we're kind of blind to or we don't talk about much is the good shit that goes on that people do that keeps the balance. And when that balance gets tilted, and it could go either way. We're either going to go all to shit or we're going to go, hey, all to good. And wherever 90% of the population goes, that's the direction it goes. They don't know how to choose. They just follow. So here's this little splinter 10% group that we're part of a group. And everybody's trying to maintain power within this group. And why? Because that 90% keeps supporting the same shit over and over and over that keeps the rest of us in chains. And they call it the voting, education, the good of society, punishment. Oh, and these people that are so hell-bent on their fucking punishments. Put them in prison. Oh, that'll solve everything. No. The truth would solve everything if we weren't taught to be a bunch of lazy, lying, slimy pieces of shit. We wouldn't be having people leading us that live that kind of life. And that's what we got. Hillary, Trump. Trump talked about fucking his own daughter, for crying out loud. I mean, that is a weirdo. There's nothing. And his connections to these other billionaires. And, come on. What do you think? He was going to stand. The guy said, I grab them by the pussy. They love that. Oh, they just love it when you grab them by the pussy. I heard him say it. I saw he was saying it to a younger kid, trying to probably, make the kid impressed or whatever stupid shit that was about. But I heard it with my own ears. So, my personal belief is I don't want a guy like that deciding where I'm going to go in my life, because I don't want to go where he goes. I have daughters, and never in my life would I ever talk like that. Just talking that way, thinking that way is beyond me. But to open up your mouth and say a joke, ha ha ha, but not about your children. There's even lines that I don't cross, and I'm pretty vulgar on. You guys heard me on the dork table. I've made a dirty joke or two over there with Miss Mary, I think. Let's see, what do we got going on in the RealLibertyMedia.com chat? We got Rob Works and Vinny, and we got Graham Z. Hey! Graham Z is asking, is Twitter down for anyone else? No, Mary, they kicked you off, just you. Everybody else has got normal Twitter. They're just Twitter twatting away, right, everybody? No, let's see. Grimner says, Something is technically wrong. He caught me in a lie. I was just lying, Mary. Yeah, thanks for noticing. We're going to fix it up and have things back to normal soon. So, yes, normal, says Rob Works. And Miss Mary says, "Phew, I thought maybe I had done something naughty and didn't know it." You try to do shit to get thrown off, and you can't get thrown off. I don't even have to try. I got thrown off of Facebook, about 15, I think, 14 or 15, somewhere in there. I was arguing with a Jesus freak about pot. And he told me my evil devil's lettuce was terrible, and I was just blah, 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 blah. And I said, look, you freaking Jesus freak nut job. And then I get a little thing. You got 30 days of timeout. You can't post. You can't this. You can't that. So then I spent like 10 days trying to figure out how to delete my YouTube account. Or not YouTube, my Facebook account. And still, to this day, my closest friends are on Facebook. Does anybody support me and my boycotts? Ha, ha, ha. Israel. Monsanto Bear. Oh, what's that other one? Bank of America, Deutsche Bank, Israel. I don't buy my avocados from Israel. I get them from Peru. And if they didn't come from Peru and they only came from Israel, I wouldn't buy them. Just because that's the way that this is really freaking done. It's just not managed properly. It's not organized. It's, people are all happenstance doing a million different things all in one day. You can't focus on anything to get anything done because there's so much to do. Life is huge. Boy. Hey, Van Meter just showed up. And speaking of life is huge, you're out there in Florida in the sunshine and stuff, right? Donna. Graham Z broke Twitter. Anyway. Wonder what we're going to end up doing, because I've been hearing stories about the end is nigh. Good Lord. We've been having the zombie apocalypse for 40 years. And yeah, it's happening and slowly, it's decaying right before your freaking eyes. But one set of the herd looks at these decays as progress, and the other side of the herd looks at the decays as decays, because that's what they're doing. They've decayed the social. Wow, the social convention is gone to shit. Now it's a free-for-all out there. People are abusing children in parades, in my opinion. That's how I see it. If anybody would have tried to do that to me when I was a little kid, my dad would have bitch slapped them right where they fucking stood. Good God, there would have been no question about it. What? Crack. See ya, buddy. Get the fuck down the road. And, and here we are now. And you got grown men running around with little 10-year-old boys in drag. And everybody is, not everybody, but there's enough people okay with this crap to support it. That's what it is. It's who supports what. And I wonder, because I don't support a lot of shit I see. But it's out there. Fluoride in the water, ring a bell. Chemtrails, when they're spraying shit up in the sky. Who is going to stop these things? And then we're inundated. There's so many freaking things coming at us from so many different directions. It would take an act of Congress to stop one thing and get hit with 100. So, let's see. Donna says, yep, Flash, still here, thinking of buying land here and slapping a camper on it. Well, whatever you think is what you're going to do, and guess. I believe that. You put your brainwaves in a certain direction, Set yourself on, I'm going to do this, and start doing it. And then you got something happening. And then Grimner thinks the zombie apocalypse would be good times. Well, yeah, because you're sitting there with your shotgun and your computer brain and all that. You'd probably do all right. But you're not near a city. But I don't really see it like that. The way I see it is the snap, crackle, and pop of overcrowding, because I haven't lived in a big city since 2000. I was out in the 2002. I left California for the last time and lived in smaller places. Uh, so the amount of people that live where I once lived is astronomical. I mean, I didn't think that it would ever happen that the way it's happening, the way I'm reading it happens. But I haven't been home to see it with my own two eyes. I just read or see links. And it's pretty disgusting. You know, they've got so overcrowded now, people are living on the streets of Los Angeles in tents on the street of downtown LA. And back in the day when they had Skid Row, it was isolated and, observed. People would look out for each other. So I'm sure that no matter how bad it is, there's still that same, your neighbor's got your back. Even even in a shitty situation like that, you're gonna find people. People are amazing creatures when you take away everything they have, and then they still want to live. That's the interesting part, and there's not much for them to build on. They're intense on the street, so I don't see where it could go forward. I only see bottoming out, so to speak. And then whatever information I'm getting is off the internet anyway, so it's probably only half true. It's better than it used to be. At least we came from all of it was bullshit to now some of it is bullshit. How do you figure out what part is true and what part ain't? I don't know. I can't do it. But what I do think I do is I trust my life path or something, that wherever I go, it's all right. I'm fine. Things are good. It was like the thing that Mary was reading about, the all-time prize fight winner. Hit like 50 fights. He won 50 fights. And he attributed it to this mental chant thing, kind of an idea where you put yourself in this kind of a state of mind, I suppose it would be, and you just follow it, or it, whatever it is. It's hard to explain to other people the way that an individual would see it. And Mary was reading from a third party, but I still got the point, because I think some of us just naturally do that. We know something, and whatever it is we know, it's not popular with anybody else. Other people's job is to tell me how insane I am. And that's why Hans and what's his name, Free and Slave, and boy, the more negative I get from them, the more positive I feel about myself. Because, well, you've read the text and you've seen the links that they post, and you get the point. Some people just do not understand self-responsibility it's a state of fucking mind that you're in. It's not a physical action that you take. Very little bit of life. In my life, most of it is mental. Cirque. I love my wife. There you go. What do? You don't hurt people that you love. You do things for them when they need them done, and you get along for the most part. And that's how it should be. But there's a lot of outside influence from bigger societies, I think. All the crap that they're doing, construction, and all the people, the crowds, and it changes I think it changes the balance. What I would call balance to be comfortable is to not be around more than 150 people at one given moment. Then I'm comfortable. And beyond that number of people in a small enclosed place like a theater or something, I don't like it. I used to like it when I was young, but some part of me just changed. The things that I liked in the 1980s or the 1990s today don't get my attention. Or sometimes it's the exact opposite. The things that get my attention today, I would have never noticed them 30 years ago, would have walked right by and not paid any attention at all. But life may, for some of us, be like a learning experience, and then maybe not. I don't know. I think I'm just doing shit. But then hindsight, I sit down and think about my day or what happened, and wow, I'm looking at that in a lot differently than I would have when I was younger. I must be growing up. I'm not sure that's the way it is, but it could be. Whoa, they're talking about the water gators added sure good entertainment. Oh, in that, was that Chicago or someplace they had an alligator there was hunting? I read a little bit about it on the interwebs, but it didn't grab my attention. I'm not all that big on one animal being. They got zoos. Go to the zoo. Free the animals in the zoo and watch the city go insane. Anyway, what have we got here? Vinny says old programmers never die. They just reboot. Ha 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 ha. Well, I think I'm going to just do an hour show tonight. I ran out of links, and I don't know. We've all met the Strawman. We all know the cops don't have any duty to protect us. I'm pretty sure that most people are in tune with, if your life sucks, it's your life that sucks. And it doesn't have much to do with everybody else. We think it does, but it doesn't. It's what you allow in. I can't do a show alone about trying to explain. You want to do part of this, Vinny? You feel like coming on for a bit? Do an hour with me on 20% off, and we can debate that who owns the color blue. Otherwise, I think I'm going to call it a show. So I've got my wire open. If Vinny can get on and connect before I'm done, use RLM1 if you come on. Then I'll continue. And if not, I'm going to do the lineup and say goodnight and good afternoon to all the fine people out there in the world. Let's see. No, I don't see anything on here from, he might not even be listening. But anyway, so we're going to go with, that's a wrap for 20% off on this. No, Vinny's going to stay off. Okay. Yeah, hey, cool. Thanks a lot, everybody, for playing along with me on this Thursday night. And I'm going to do the lineup as soon as I get done typing. I'm stalling for time. And we are on Thursday night. So are you, I guess Vinny's not doing a ponder gander. But if he does, he'll be doing it on Friday at 1 o'clock on the East Coast. He's coming on the dork table on Saturday. Yeah, I just don't really feel, I don't feel a 2-hour show tonight. I feel like an hour and 11-minute show. Or maybe 9 minutes. I'm not sure. We'll have to play with that. Well, tomorrow we got, if Vinny doesn't do a ponder gander at 1 o'clock on the East Coast, you always got Graham Z at 7 o'clock from Kansas doing a Rocket Chair podcast. And then at 11 o'clock, Grimner and Moose Girl. Hey, Vinny. Yeah, Graham Z and Vinny are being all nice and stuff. We got Graham Z at 7 o'clock on the East Coast. 11 o'clock. Oh, boy, I got all tongue twisted there. Grimner and Moose Girl. Freaker's Ball at 11 o'clock on Friday night. There you go. Oh, sure, Mary. I have no idea. I just rambled for an hour and just ran out. Some days I just don't feel as talkative as others. And then Saturday we're going to do a dork table, and Vinny said he's going to be there, but Mary wasn't sure. I heard her last night. We'll see. But I had a great time on Saturday. You guys were cracking me up because, that's probably why I'm having trouble with the show tonight. Is doing it alone is nowhere near as much fun as doing it with you guys. And see, Saturday dork table, 12 o'clock on the East Coast. Sunday morning, we've got Grimner comes on with the blues. plays trivia up until about 3 o'clock in the West Coast. And Hal Anthony comes on from behind the woodshed and with his can of whoop ass for the Crickets. And then on Monday at 7 o'clock on the East Coast, you got Grim Leftovers. That's usually the stuff that he didn't find enough time for on the Freakers Ball from Friday night. You never know. And then Tuesday, I do the middle of the night. Who knows what the hell I was thinking when I did this in a perfect world podcast show alone. Because me and Vinny started it, but he took off. When he comes back, I'll put it back into a more accessible time. Prostitute. Grimner's being funny on the RLM feed. And then Wednesday night, Graham Z, 7 o'clock on the East Coast. She does the Rocket Chair podcast for all of us little people. And then Thursday night, I'll come back and do another 20% off. 2 o'clock on the East Coast next week. Same bat time, same baddie channel. And thanks a lot, everybody. Over and out.